Hello, everyone. My name is Joanie Kalem.
Hi, this is Shraddha Nigvekar.
We are going to do a story with you. It's an old story. It's about a brother and sister named Henry and Liza. And Henry and Liza usually get along very well, but sometimes their communication seems to go around and around in a circle. So we are going to do this story not as Henry and Liza. We're going to do it as Jonaie and Shraddha. Are you ready? Shraddha?
Yes, Joanie?
There's a hole in the bucket, dear Shraddha, dear Shraddha. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Shraddha, a hole.
Then fix it, dear Joanie, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. Then fix it, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. Just fix it.
Well, how shall I fix it, dear Shraddha, dear Shraddha? Oh, how shall I fix it, dear Shraddha? Well, how?
With straw, dear Joanie, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. With straw, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. With straw.
Yes, but the straw is too long, dear Shraddha, dear Shraddha. The straw is too long, dear Shraddha, too long.
Then cut it, dear Joanie, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. Just cut it, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. Just cut it.
But how shall I cut it, dear Shraddha, dear Shraddha? Well, how shall I cut it, dear Shraddha? Well, how?
With an axe, dear Joanie, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. With an axe, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. With an axe.
Yes, but, the axe is too dull, dear Shraddha, dear Shraddha. The axe is too dull, dear Shraddha, too dull.
Then sharpen it, dear Joanie, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. Then sharpen it, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. Just sharpen it.
Yes, but, how shall I sharpen it, dear Shraddha, dear Shraddha? Oh, how shall I sharpen it, dear Shraddha? Oh, how?
With a stone, dear Joanie, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. With a stone, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. With a stone.
Yes, but, the stone is too dry, dear Shraddha, dear Shraddha. The stone is too dry, dear Shraddha, too dry.
Then wet it, dear Joanie, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. Just wet it, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. Just wet it.
Well, yes, but, how shall I wet it, dear Shraddha, dear Shraddha? Oh, how shall I wet it, dear Shraddha? Oh, how?
With water, dear Joanie, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. With water, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. Try water.
Yes. Well, how will I fetch it, dear Shraddha, dear Shraddha? Well, how will I fetch it, dear Shraddha? Well, how?
In a bucket, dear Joanie, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. In a bucket, dear Joanie, dear Joanie. In a bucket.
But Shraddha, there's a hole in the bucket, dear Shraddha, dear Shraddha. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Shraddha. A hole.
Oh my.
how shall I wet it? Dear Liza, oh, how shall I wet it? Dear Liza, oh, how?
Sweetie, you called me Liza.
Oh. Oh, well.
Oh, well.